So before I start taking this thing apart, my guy Smokey over here is gonna do a compression test or balance test, right?
Sure.
What are you doing?
I don't even know. Checking compression.
Compression and balance test, right?
Yeah.
Checking for codes.
A bunch of codes.
Why is there a check engine light on, dude?
You're welcome.
Now we want to make sure that everything checks out before I take this engine apart. Slow down, dude. Slow down.
Engine failure.
What? Ready. Ooh.
Perfect.
Is it?
I mean,
1% there and 1% there. What?
It's a false reading.
Okay, that's all green.
You're reading the fuel? What up, what up?
No, we're checking compression.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's that?
It's looking good, which is good. I'm happy.
Yeah, they can just do a drag strip?
Later.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah. Is that a Game Boy Color?
Yeah.
So satisfying to open new devices like that, right? What kind of game is that?
Super Mario.
Super Mario, cool. Requesting a calibration from Whipple.
Alright.
That's it?
It's requested.
Really?
Yep.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
Yeah. 24 hours. You get it.
Or less. Alright, so I think we're ready to go. Before I install the Whipple kit, I've got the new oil pump gears. Billet from Boundary. And also new, whatever that's called, gear. Is that gear?
Yeah.
The thing that holds the chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bicycle sprocket.
Bicycle sprocket for wheelies.
Yeah.
So, and Smokey here provided some instructions, and he said he's gonna do it for me. And first thing, I don't have this tool, so what am I gonna do? Not use it. Yeah, it looks pretty simple. Remove that, remove the bolt, turn it, position it, don't turn it backwards, put the bolts back in, and you're good. Right? Cool. So what I'm gonna do is take the front bumper off, drain the coolant, take the shields off underneath, drain the fluids, I'm gonna drain the oil also, and then supposed to drop the oil pan a little bit, so I'm guessing I'm gonna have to lift the engine up a little bit, which I have to do anyways because I gotta replace the motor mount brackets to lower the engine so the Whipple can clear this. Well, that doesn't get reinstalled, so the Whipple clears the hood, or we could just remove the hood or cut a hole in the hood. Sounds like it's easier to do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Alright, so I got the battery out, battery tray out, the shield here out, strut tower, right? What was that?
Yeah.
Strut tower, both of them out. Now I have easy access to this valve cover here because I'll have to pop that out.
Strut bar.
Strut bar, yep, that's what I was saying. And on this side, it's pretty easy access also. You gotta pop both valve covers off, pull the intake, drop the oil pan, and remove the front engine cover. So, yep. My helper over here is Facebooking live. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Got the front bumper removed. Totally forgot to record it because of this guy. He's distracting me. But what's next?
Put it back together.
No, not yet. Gotta drain this coolant, drain the oil, and just remove the intake and lift up this engine a little bit. Yep. Let's drain this coolant here on the passenger side. I've got a little hose connected here just so it doesn't splash everywhere. And you just turn this knob here and there it goes. There goes the coolant. Okay, gotta open this cap so there's air going in. It'll drain faster. There we go. Oh, why is it going everywhere? So while that coolant is draining, I'm going to start removing stuff under the hood here. Starting with this filter, this coolant reservoir here, and the fans. That way I'll have access to the crank pulley. And I'll remove the pulleys and all of that, remove the spark plugs, remove the intake, cover the holes up with a plate just so nothing falls in, and go from there. Valve covers, and keep going. Thank you, Tim. I don't know how to say the last name, but thank you, Tim, for building this engine for me. I appreciate it. But I am sad I can't install these parts back on with the Whipple on it. But I will save them. Got this custom plate that I made last time I did an engine swap on the 5.0 Mustang, and it works great to cover up the holes so nothing falls in, and also to to lift the engine out or up, just to hold it up in the air so I can work underneath and do what I gotta do. So you can get these plates online, but I didn't have time for that, so last time I just welded one up, put 2 ears on it, just so it's, you know, if I need to go in the front, the engine more, or in the middle, it works great. So as I'm taking this apart, I started thinking, what if the previous owner already upgraded the oil pump gears and I'm doing this for no reason? That would be crazy, but I just don't see any signs of someone getting in here before. Everything looks original, so I'm hoping nobody was in here before, because, you know, I'm just wasting my time doing it again. But if I take it apart and it was upgraded, I'm still gonna change it just because I already have it and all that work, and I'm just gonna put a new one on regardless. But I just don't think anyone has been in this engine before. I bought this car used. It had, I think, 10,000 miles on it, and it's a 2016. So I'm not sure, but I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna pop these belts off. I believe I gotta remove the water pump. I don't remember. I think I do, because it looks like it's in the way. Yeah, definitely in the way because of this. So I gotta remove that and make a bigger mess. No matter how you drain this coolant, every hose you remove, you're still spilling coolant. So I just put like a piece of cardboard under there to kind of absorb the coolant that doesn't make it into the drain pan. There's gonna be way more coolant coming out once I remove the water pump, but nothing I can do about it. There's no other way. So let's continue this upgrade. Water pump is out. Now I have to rotate the engine to get this AC belt off, and to rotate it I'm going to pull the spark plugs out just so it's easier to turn the engine, and I believe I turn it clockwise, and I'm told that these engines do not want to be turned the other way because things could go wrong, especially when you're messing with timing. So clockwise only. Let's get it going. At this point, looks like I'll remove the valve covers, because once I lift the engine up a couple inches to drop the oil pan, I won't be able to remove this valve cover because it'll be very tight over there on the driver's side. Passenger side is not bad, it's wide open, but over there by the brake booster it's pretty tight. So I'll remove the valve covers and then lift up the engine with that jack and secure it somehow. I'll think of something, maybe put some kind of bar across and put a strap just so it holds the engine up, so I can drop the oil pan low enough to get the oil pump out, because I have to actually pull the pump out and then disassemble it, change the oil pump gear, reassemble it, and then start putting everything back together. Why I'm doing this together with the Whipple install is because most of the stuff I have to take apart up here for the Whipple install, so I'm already more than halfway there. Might as well do this upgrade. I was going to just do the upgrade and then install the Whipple later, but I'm glad the Whipple came in time to where I can do it all at once and not waste any time and just start racing people or whatever, you know, whatever comes up. But let's get these valve cover off and keep going. Check out the setup I got. So I bolted that plate down where the intake goes and got the hooks welded on. This plate I made to pull engines, but right now it's holding the engine up off the motor mounts, so I can go ahead and drop the oil pan. That's one reason. Second reason, once I start doing the Whipple install, I gotta change the motor mount brackets, the brackets that bolt on to the engine block. So this thing is actually built tough. I mean, it's holding the engine so far. I don't think it'll drop it anytime soon. So this was the last time I'll be using this piece on this car, because it will not be getting put back on once the supercharger sits on top of this engine. There won't be enough clearance. I like that piece. I wish I could put it back, but there's just no way around it. And I was thinking, yeah, I could probably put some spacers under here or something, but that's not gonna work, because if I lift it up, then the hood won't close. So that kind of sucks, but it's fine. It is what it is. So I've got the crankshaft pulley down here. Got the puller on it. I'm gonna start cranking this bolt in. As I crank the bolt in, it's gonna start pulling this pulley off, and then at that point I'm gonna get underneath the car. I've already drained the oil, but I'm gonna get underneath the car, drop the oil pan a couple inches, and then take all these bolts out that hold the front cover, and the front cover should come off at that point. Once the cover is off, then I can pull the oil pump out completely out of the car and take it to a table, disassemble it, put the new oil pump gears on, and then I'm gonna feel safe. Once I install a supercharger, I know for a fact that that oil pump gear won't fail on me when I'm, you know, high revving the engine. So I'm sure there are other upgrades I could do to the engine, but I feel like the least I can do is upgrade the oil pump gears. It's recommended by Whipple and other people just to upgrade that piece before you lose an engine, because once the oil pump gear shatters, your engine is gone. You lose oil pressure at 8,000 RPMs and the engine is done. And this is a billet piece, so it's way stronger than what is in there. In there, I believe, is cast, and I'm told if you drop it, it shatters like glass. So I may try to get a video of that and slow it down so we could see it shatter in slow motion. Let's continue working. This puller here, the balancer puller, I've got it off Amazon, and I wasn't sure if it's gonna work on this engine, but it works great. I used the longest rod and it worked great. I didn't have any issues. I did it from the first time. I've used other pullers before where this wouldn't grip inside the here, and it would just slip, and you have to do it a couple times. And this one actually worked great. So Amazon, if you need one, get one. Oh, and it comes with lifetime warranty. Wow, cool. It's a awesome tool. Got tired of working on the engine, so I just decided to draw it instead. And my drawing skills aren't that great, but they need some work. I'm kidding. This is just the outline of the front cover. as I pull the bolts out, I'm gonna put them in the right places, so later I don't have to guess which bolt goes where. Some of them are different lengths, and this just speeds things up. If you put them in the right place, it's gonna save you some time. Let's get this front cover off. As you can see, the oil pan has been dropped a couple inches. That way I can just go ahead and remove this cover. So I'm gonna start removing these bolts, put them in the proper place on this drawing here that looks really good, and we go from there.
Ooh, right.
So there it is. The timing chain is exposed. So now this is the part that I've never done myself before. So on this type of engine, this is where it gets tricky, and there's no room for mistakes, because if you don't put the timing chain in the exact same spot, your engine will run rough, or you could even bend the valves and all of that. So this is gonna be the hard part, but I've got some instructions printed, so I'm going to read them closely and go from there. Next day, messing with the timing here. Ran out of time last night. I've got the engine clocked at 9:30 right now. That is to remove this primary chain here on the passenger side. Once I remove that side, I'm going to clock the timing to 12:30, remove this side, and then I can remove the pump and take the pump apart to install the pump gear. So let's get this day started. Out with the old and with the new. Totally just messed up. I put the new sprocket on, and now I have to remove it because I gotta remove the pump. My bad. So my oil pump on the inside has a little bit of wear. I'm not sure if that's normal or not. My car had 14,000 miles, so I don't know. I mean, I can't really feel it that much with the fingernail. I feel a little bit, but it's not like crazy bad. And I would change it, but I just called the local dealer and they don't have one in stock. No one nearby has one in stock. It's on back order. Then there's one in like Texas, and I'm not about to wait 3 to 5 days to get this oil pump. So this thing's getting assembled as is with the new oil pump gear, obviously. But I think the most wear is on the actual gear itself, not the housing. So we should be good. Got some oil here. Gonna dump the new gear in the oil, put it back together, and start reassembling everything. Let's go. now your engine failed. It's supposed to fly into more pieces, but you see what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Look at this quality, man. Imagine if this happens when you're at 8,000 RPM.
You're not dropping it at 8,000.
You dropped it at like 4,000
Nah,
and it
that,
shattered.
that was like 12.
Alright, so the timing chains are back in place. Did a couple full rotations just to make sure everything checks out, and it does. Everything stays on its marks. So now I'm gonna clean it up a little bit and put the cover back on, and I'll put some silicone where the head meets the block and all that, and over at the bottom, that's where they had the silicone originally. So I'll just put some fresh stuff on there and put this cover back on, mount the oil pan back in place, and go from there. So this will be it for this video of the oil pump gear and / Whipple install. We didn't get to the Whipple part just yet, but I've got the cover back on, and as you can see, the balancer's back on, the AC belt's back on, the oil pan underneath is back on, and this is a good stopping point because while the engine is lifted, it's still lifted off the motor mounts. In the next video I want to go ahead and open up the Whipple kit and get the motor mount brackets out so I can replace them before I set the engine back down to lower it for the Whipple Supercharger to clear the hood. So why I haven't put the valve covers back on is because the engine is lifted as high as possible at the moment, and especially on the driver's side, I don't think it's a good idea to put it back on. I don't think it would fit right now, so I'm gonna hold off on that. But in the next video I will go ahead and put the motor mount brackets on, lower the engine, tighten it back down to the motor mounts, and then put the valve covers back on and continue on with the Whipple install. Later.